Allah says that Jews call Ezra the son of Allah. Have you ever, in your entire life, anywhere on the planet, heard a Jew calling Ezra the son of Allah? Neither have I. Neither has anyone. So, as is so often the case, Allah doesn't seem to know what he's talking about when he's commanding his followers to violently subjugate people. But even though he's wrong about Jews here, is he right about Christians?
Okay, so I've already refuted this argument back in 2020, 2021, earlier this year, but I guess I'm refuting this argument for, I don't know, the fifth time. But anyways, the question really arises, what does the Quran really say when it means the Jews say Ezra is the son of God, and is the Quran in error? Because if you read the Bible, the Old Testament, nowhere does it say Ezra is the son of God, and Jews don't say Ezra is the son of God. So when David Wood says, well, the Jews don't say Ezra is the son of God, he's correct. He's correct on that. The Old Testament and Jews don't say Ezra is the son of God, but David Wood fails to do a historical background research or research into the background of this verse or why this verse was revealed. So I'm going to be exposing David Wood's ignorance in why this verse was revealed in the first place right now. David Wood does not understand circumstance of revelation or asab al-nuzul. So David Wood doesn't understand that certain Quranic verses came down to address certain people or certain situations. And the Quran chapter 9 verse 30 is addressing a very specific group of people and not all people, or it's addressing a specific group of Jews and not all Jews, which I will get to right now. The Quran is addressing a specific group of Jews in Medina and not all Jews. This is confirmed by reading the commentaries of the Quran. The two responses to this claim I've always said are the following, or this, back in 2020, 2021, etc., etc. Some Jews in 500 BCE, that means 500 years before Jesus, to 70 to 218 CE were saying that Ezra was like a son of God in 4 Ezra chapter 2 verse etc. etc. The Quran chapter 9 verse 30 is addressing some Jews in Medina. This is confirmed looking at the Tafsirs or the commentaries of the Quran. As for some Jews in Medina who believed Ezra was the son of God, some Arab Jews such as Salam bin Mishkam, Finas bin Azura, Sayf, etc. were saying that Ezra is the son of God. Also see Tafsir al-Tabari, volume 14, pages 201 to 203. Also see Tafsir ibn Abbas and Tafsir of Qurtubi, volume 7, page 116. Also see Ibn Ishaq, page 269, as confirmed or as authenticated by other commentaries. So if you read the commentaries on the Quran by classical Muslim scholars and early Muslim scholars like Ibn Abbas, Qurtubi, al-Tabari, etc., they were saying some Arab Jews in Medina were saying that Ezra was the son of God and not all Jews. So the Quran chapter 9 verse 30 was addressing those Arab Jews and not all Jews. Sahih al-Bukhari 7439 confirms this. It states that only some of the Jews believed Ezra was the son of God, not all of them. So not all the Jews on earth believed Ezra was the son of God before Muhammad or after Muhammad. According to 4 Ezra, some Jews were saying Ezra was like the son of God, but I personally don't prefer that view. I prefer the view that the Quran chapter 9 verse 30 is talking about some Arab Jews in Medina who are saying that Ezra was the son of God. So I prefer that view. Regardless, if you read Tafsir of al-Qurtubi, volume 7, page 116, the phrase the Jews said, or the Arabic Akalat al-Yahud, the verse does not refer to all Jews in the world. It doesn't refer to like Jews of Israel or, modern day Jews, etc., or Jews before the time of Islam or the Prophet Muhammad. That phrase refers to a specific, or that phase, the Jews, is meant to be specific. In this case, the Quran chapter 9 verse 30 is referring to the Arab Jews of Medina and not all Jews of the world before Islam or after Islam. So the conclusion here is that the Quran chapter 9 verse 30, according to classical Muslim scholars and early Muslim scholars like Ibn Abbas, Qurtubi, Tabari, etc., was addressing some Arab Jews in Medina and not all Jews before the rise of Islam or after Islam, who were saying that Ezra was the son of God. So the Quran chapter 9 verse 30 is not an error here, because the Quran chapter 9 verse 30 is addressing the Arab Jews of Medina and not all Jews before Islam or after Islam. The Quran chapter 9 verse 30 is addressing some Jews in Medina and not all Jews of the world. So the Quran is